So I learned about the New Life Clinic through volunteering over at the college. We did a couple volunteer events with them, and just learning about that, that's how I knew to come here. Well, I was very emotional, and I had been having dreams that I was pregnant. So that morning I took a test and I took an exam for college, and then I was scared, so I came here and confirmed it. So when I walked in, I was greeted by a very warm smile, and they asked me what I needed. I told them. I went back and took a pregnancy test, and when she told me it was positive, she asked me if I was okay and told me that if I needed to talk to someone, we had someone to talk to. So they brought in Courtney, and she explained all the possibilities, shared some feelings she had at one point, and just kind of was like a big hug to me. So we talked through my emotions, and she kind of just let me cry, and after that it felt a lot better. So when I left here, I called my partner to tell him, and I knew he wasn't going to support it because of previous conversations, but I felt a lot better about the end result after leaving. So one day I was talking to Courtney, and she introduced me to Embrace Grace, which I really believed changed my life. She gave me a love box, and that was the first day I remember being very excited about the pregnancy. I got a little onesie for my baby, and it said best gift ever, and that's when I really started to see her as a gift.
I first learned about Embrace Grace a couple years ago when some staff from the New Life Clinic went to the CareNet conference. They went to the booth of Embrace Grace and learned all about it and thought that this would be something awesome to bring back to Clinton County. So they came to myself and another board member at the time and asked if we would be interested in leading this class. Once I learned about Embrace Grace and what it was, I was like, yes, 100%, I want to take this on. I felt that it was a calling for me because I was once in those girls' positions. I was 15 and pregnant, and I remember being embarrassed to go to church with my grandma for a funeral when I was pregnant because I was feared that I was going to be judged and not welcomed, and definitely was not a loving feeling that I had, and I don't want anybody else to feel like that. The girls should know that the church is somewhere where they can run to when they need help and they need guidance, that we want to be the ones to embrace them and love on them and show them how important they are and how special they are. So we started doing Embrace Grace a couple years ago. We have completed 4 groups. The class that we just had was our smallest group. There was 2 girls there, but it was so special. The girls came in eager to learn. They didn't miss 1 week. Every week they'd come in super excited to watch the video and tell us about their week and their doctor's appointments, and just, they loved it, and we loved growing that bond with them. It was so special. The first time I met Emily, she was scared when she came in. She's kind of quiet. I think that she had mentioned one time that she thought that we were going to be old church ladies, and she wasn't sure how she was going to connect with us. So when she came in, she was relieved to know that some of us in the group that are leading have been in her position before, that we knew how she felt, and we knew some of the worries that she had and the struggles she was going to face, and that we wanted to help her with that.
So at the time I was introduced to Embrace Grace, I had just started to rebuild my relationship with Christ, and upon walking in, I immediately felt very warm and comforted and unconditional love. Every time I spoke in the class, I felt heard, and I just really felt the presence of God amongst all of the women there.
How I seen Emily grow each week is she came in each week just eager to know more about God's love, and each week she'd come back and she'd be like, well, this week when this happened, this is how I handled it. This week I had a conversation with my baby's father, and this is how I handled that conversation. So just hearing how she was growing and knowing how to handle the feelings that she was having and to face the situations, that she was doing them with grace and with love, and she was slowly letting go of any bitterness or anger that she was holding on to from past relationships and just how life had threw her curveballs. And so she was ready to change how she was handling those situations. And it was just awesome to watch her grow that way, grow in conversations that she'd have with her parents, with her friends, when she was looking for a job. There's just so many different ways that she was growing and using the tools that we were showing her.
I don't think I would have been able to rebuild a life with Grace's father if it had not been for the group and the class. It really taught me what God's grace was, and after going to class, I think a couple classes in, I knew that God chose me to be the mom for a reason. So we have now made amends, and we're building a life together for Grace, which part of the reason I named her Grace was because of God's grace being shown to me through the group.
My favorite moment with Emily this summer that we had was when she came and told us that she was going to name her baby Grace. That just made my heart want to burst, that the class was that important to her, that something as her child's name was going to make her think of her time going to Embrace Grace, and I think that was pretty special.
I was really surprised to be thrown the baby shower they gave us. They pampered us all morning. They did our hair, our makeup, took maternity pictures, and just really treated us like queens, really. And then threw a baby shower, and many girls from Embrace Grace before had come, and many people at the church came, and it just felt a lot of love. It was probably the most love I felt in a long time, so. I am now a couple weeks away from meeting the little face that saved me, and I'm most excited to show her to the women of Embrace Grace because they just showered me with love the entire time, and they still continue to do so.